This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Superfans. This is your one-stop shop for all Chicago sports news, shenanigans, bitching, anything under that category, really. You know, this is the podcast where we just talk Chicago,
and it's Dave's show.
And it's apparently now my show.
Yeah.
I've adopted it. You know, I missed hosting so much as we took Tool to Game.
I threw out the idea of maybe doing it again, and you shot it down pretty hard.
I said it'd be tough, but we'll see.
You told me to do it with someone else, Dave.
I did. So I'm taking over Superfans now, so you get to deal with me on this side of the table, which will go smoothly,
I haven't had Sean on in a while.
Yeah, he's got a busy schedule. That's okay. Mm-hmm. We miss him, but whenever he wants to come back on, has time, we will take him. But anyway, today we've got a great episode for you. We're going to be talking about some Bulls. We're going to be talking about some, I want to say Sox, but it's the Cubs today.
It's the Cubs.
It's baseball, it's Cubs. And then we're going to go hit up the Bears. Big news all around, really. Like this is actually a juicy episode, which I love because, let's be honest, you could talk sports, but the drama is really what keeps me into sports. And to get things started off, I want to start with the Bulls because, let's be honest, this is a team that we had expectations for. The Bulls front office said they had expectations for. And what they've done since is throw those expectations on the ground, stomp on them a couple times, pour a bottle of liquor on them, light that on fire, and then just for good measure, take a baseball bat to it. The big news of the week is Thad Young came out, talked publicly about how he was a little disappointed and would like to get more minutes and maybe go somewhere else and get those minutes. He wants to compete. He was sold on the "I'm going to compete" line.
It's not about
and isn't getting to compete.
It's not about just not getting minutes.
Yeah.
It's who's getting minutes ahead of him, Dave. Yeah. How the hell is Luke Cornett, Cool Hand Luke, getting more minutes than Thad Young? You tell me that.
I don't have an answer for you.
Because Jake, and I'm so mad because it's Jake.
Yeah.
Jake has kind of got this anger out of me.
He does.
When he told me, when we were talking yesterday, and he goes, well, you can't just blame Jim Boylan for everything. I can, and I will, because he's the one that puts the rotations together. Make your players happy, damn it.
You know, Ricky,
Make them happy.
maybe saying that out loud.
It's logic, and Jim Boylan doesn't know what logic is because he's incompetent and shouldn't be a head coach.
I just checked our Discord, which Sam, one of our patrons, dropped in there, know about, hey, Jim Boylan just got told from the front office, don't talk about player injuries anymore.
Because he's an idiot.
Because he's an idiot. Again, shout out patron. If you guys want to check us out on patreon.com/mostofthepodcast, $1 tier gets you into our Discord. And then from there, you can jump on a show, suggest topics. But yeah, it's just a fun time, 24/7 conversation. Anyway, this Bulls team and Thad Young, have we hit how do you say it? I can't say it.
This is the beginning of the
irreconcilable whatever.
You know how earlier in the year, remember when I mentioned Bulls Outsiders had their bold predictions for the year, and one of them, I think it was Peck, but I can't remember, said that the bold prediction is that the players will have a mutiny and turn on Boylan. This is the beginning.
Yeah.
The fire, where there's smoke, there's fire, Dave. Yep. And actually, no, it didn't start now. It started with Zach LaVine. The benching of Zach LaVine started this. This is just another little bit of it's going to start avalanching over the year. Boylan did it to himself, starting it with benching Zach LaVine, and Zach basically going off and saying, you know what? I'm going to show you that you're the problem, that I'm not the problem. And some people are going to say, well, see, a good head coach got the best out of his player. You don't want your player playing pissed off in spite mode. Like, you don't want, like...
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You just don't call out your player like that. And then you have Thad Young, the veteran that... Beginning of the year, Gar Forman. Well, we want to bring in guys that are going to help this team not just be the mentor to the young players, but with the playoffs.
Yep.
And then you're playing Cool Hand Luke over Thad Young. I'm sorry. Thad Young's a better player than Luke Cornett.
Those Pacers last year get to the playoffs.
Yes.
Pretty good player.
No, let's play Luke Cornett.
Luke Cornett's great. Irreconcilable was what I could not pronounce earlier for the fucking help of me.
Then yes, they're irreconcilable
differences. Yes.
As I butchered it myself.
It's okay. It's okay. It took me like 6 tries.
English is hard, man.
It is sometimes. Oh, so unprofessional.
Well, I was listening to that Bears video.
Yeah.
Because I thought I heard it on Dan Patrick.
Yep. Fair.
Gotta
anyway.
get the laptop.
Anyway. I agree. So you've got a coach and front office who don't see eye to eye. You've got a group of players and the coach who don't see eye to eye. And we're stuck in the middle of this. And we're hitting that realization after watching the worst game of basketball televised this year. The Bulls-Hornets. If you haven't seen it, don't. Be thankful. And if you are a Bulls fan or a Hornets fan, I'm sorry you had to watch that game because it hurt me inside to watch such a display of ineptitude and poor everything on that court. Yeah, that's what I'm going to leave that at. So I think the big question is, have we rock bottomed? And are we ready to give up on the playoff dream and start moving pieces who have value and who may return us something for the future and move on from what we've, run ourselves into? That's my question, Ricky.
See, but here's the thing. When you say move on, I want to say yes. The answer is move on.
Yep.
But it's not moving on from any particular players because, you look at our team, the guys whose contracts are up at the end, Chris Dunn's an interesting one. His name should be brought up in trade discussions if we keep losing because
he's playing well.
He's playing well. And are we going to bring him back? It should turn into, should we bring Chris Dunn back? Will a team overpay for him so we can't bring him back? Or should we just trade him now because he's playing well
and we don't think he's a fit?
Well, he's not a fit for this team under Jim Boylan. And the thing I was going to get to, Shaq Harrison doesn't matter in my mind. You're not going to get much for him.
Nope.
Denzel Valentine, playing better, but you're not going to get much return for him. Otto Porter then is the big one of, those are the three guys at the end. Dunn, Valentine, and Porter, and he's hurt. You can't really trade him when he's hurt.
There's no timetable to come back because guess what? No one's allowed to talk about it anymore.
Everybody else is still under contract. So for me, it's yes, we should move on, but it's not from any of the players. It's from the coaches. It's from the coach and the management. And that's it, where it's this team... We're in, year 3 of the rebuild?
Yeah.
And we were promised playoffs. That's why you and I were like, fuck it. They're an 8 seed this year in the weak East, which is weird because we're still sitting here going, hey, if we go on a run, we can still make that 8 seed. That's how bad the bottom part of the East is. And it's just to me, it's mind-boggling that this team and this ownership and this management doesn't get it that, hey, it's not working. I mean... Maybe this is the whole thing of telling Jim not to answer questions like that.
Yeah.
Are probably hey, leave it to us because we can probably answer it better than you. And I don't want you being the reason I lose my job. But I mean, how does this team, either ownership, management, not realize that the coach is the problem? And now they thought, oh, well, you know what? Fred wasn't getting along with the players. We're having it all over again. This is all over, except now it's the young players versus the coaches instead of the old players versus the coaches.
True. And I think that speaks to the problem of, are we keeping our coach here because we are afraid to pay another coach and try this again? I think you have to just cycle through these guys until you find the one who's going to stick. I understand that every coach wants a long-term deal, and we're still paying Fred. And I think we just got done paying Tom. And we're going to keep paying, unfortunately, I think for the next 2 years. Was his deal extended for 2 more years on top of this year?
I think it's 3 more years.
Yikes.
I'm going to look it up, though.
Yeah, I know it was sketchy. We looked up the one time, and it was there's reportings of different contract lengths.
We couldn't get the exact numbers, but we could get years.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
So what's Boylan's? So we might have to pay Boylan for 2 more years after this, maybe 3.
So. Let's see. Extension.
The point is, it's worth it. It's worth it. Pay him to not be here. And I think that's what, the front office, whoever's going to be here for the future, needs to decide on. As an ownership group, as Reinsdorf himself has to be I'm okay with paying money to not have this guy around my young players because it's not working. 3 years.
It should be assumed that it's a 3-year with an option on the 3rd.
Yeah, that option ain't getting taken up.
Yeah.
But I think that it'd be interesting to move on from pieces, even though they're not contract up. I think Thad Young's good enough to play on other teams to play for a contender and to give serious minutes every single night. And there would be interest out there for him because he is on a 2-year deal.
So I'll ask you this. Thad Young, because that's the guy we're talking about.
Yeah, this is the guy that sparked everything right now.
What team would you look to trade him to? Because, like, I'm looking at, of course, bringing up, like, you go on Google and just type in Thad Young trade rumors. Fansite, it's the Windy City, or the Windy City.
Yep.
The 3 teams they throw out are Boston, Portland, and who was the last team they had? Boston, Portland, and San Antonio. Is there a team you're looking for that is that kind of perfect marriage of they could use a guy like Thad Young for their playoff run, but we could also get something in return that we want? Because is Thad really worth a first-round pick?
He's got 2 more years under a pretty reasonable contract. $13.5 million next year, $14.1 the year after that. So he does have a lot of time on contract. So I think with the way he's playing, there could be some teams out there. I don't know that he's worth a first round pick though. It might be like Thad and a 2 for a 1 maybe. I think he'd be worth it. I think Otto is another one of those guys, if he returns healthy, could be worth it. As far as specific teams for Thad Young, I mean, basically what you're looking for is if you need someone who can come in and play power forward for you, defend well on the perimeter, can move the ball. He's not a ball stopper at all, and rebound well. Like, he can score you some points. He can rebound pretty well, and he can get a couple assists a game. It's not like the end of the earth. He's not the most gifted passer out of the 4 spot, but he moves the ball, and he's a professional. He's been to the playoffs year over year over year. Like, he's a been there, done that kind of guy. He knows where he stands, and he knows how good he is. So I think there's definitely a market for a player like him. But again, the contract you see as a bonus or a negative that he's under for 2 more years is questionable. I think
he's only at $12.9 million. That's not what I'm saying. That much.
It's not hard. So I think he'd be a piece to move on from and not feel bad. So I mean, the problem is, we got Cristiano under contract next year, unfortunately. And we've got Luke Cornett under contract, only $2 million next year. So when I look at our team, it seriously is just, it's like, okay, well, we've got Gafford, Markkanen, and Wendell Carter, and that's our 4-5 combo, and that's it. That's where I look at it. It's like, all right, well, between those 3 guys, we're gonna be locked up. Thad Young would be a perfect 4th piece, but like you said, we keep playing Cornett, we keep playing Felicio, so I hate myself,
Do you want a dumb trade that I just came up with that works?
Absolutely.
Send Thad Young to Boston, and we would basically take on a Young haul from them, where it would be basically...
How much of a Young haul can we give them?
They're taking Thad Young. Yep. We get Carson Edwards, the Time Lord, Grant Williams, Romeo.
They would not give up...
I know, but like...
3.5 first-round pick. No.
Otherwise, what are you going to... Like, and I'm looking at Boston. Otherwise, what are you going to give up? Like, and if I'm the Bulls, what do I want? I don't want Enes Kanter. I don't want Daniel Theis. Like, the contracts aren't going to work.
Kanter's probably the one that would get moved, just because offensively
but
he's good.
But as a Bulls fan, do you, like... What does that mean, though? That
it's
means
nothing.
It's just done at the end of the year,
exactly.
And we're moving Thad on for like.
But it's
that's the other
Kanter
thing, like,
plus something. That's what gets it there. They've got a ton of picks.
Plus what is it? Are we?
We could get a 2nd-round pick back.
Or would you rather have Milwaukee's first, which would basically be 30th?
I mean, I would prefer the 30th pick over a 2nd-round pick. Absolutely, they got that contract control, man.
So I don't know if that's doing this live, you and me.
Yeah,
we're working this out.
I don't know if Boston accepts that.
Thad's over. Like we'll work out what we think works for the Bulls and what the Celtics may do. So Thad's 12.9.
Yep.
I put Kanter over.
Yep.
He's 4.8. That means we roughly have about, if I'm doing my math correctly, about $8 million to work with. We have $8 million to work with, and it's like, does Boston move on from any of those young pieces? A Romeo, a Grant Williams, a Robert Williams, a Carson Edwards, and if you're the Bulls, which one of those would you want? Do we want Grant Williams because we're giving up a 4 and we can develop Grant Williams, but doesn't fit with this team?
But I don't know that they give him up. I don't know if they give up any of those guys. Like, honestly, you haven't seen them all play. So
exactly, and it's like. They've also got like Semi Ojeleye. Is that how you say it? Semi Ojeleye. He's a lesser contract, but how is he going to fit into Boston's?
Doesn't matter. They're going to move him.
Would you take him if you were the Bulls?
It's a nothing.
I mean, and that's the thing.
Was he on like SMU?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
You really liked him in the draft. That's why I brought him up.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Vincent
Edwards.
No, that's Carson Edwards. He's got a weird
There's
name.
another Vincent Edwards out there.
Poirier or something. I think it's like French. Yet again, it's like nothing of substantial. It's basically like
we're
Cantor,
just moving
a bunch of guys, and hopefully I get a pick for it.
So yeah, that's the point. Is if you can get a pick for Thad Young, go for it, because we are not a team that's competing. He was promised competition, and we're not going to be able to give it. So the question is he worth it? And because he got a 3-year deal, that he's got 2 more years on, like, I don't know, might be hard to find a team that actually wants him. Tomas Satoransky, same thing.
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's a great player, but on our team, does he need to be here right now? I don't know. I just
see, and this is the thing that kills me, because like we're talking about.
I think
like,
everybody's movable except Wendell.
Like,
I'll just say it.
well,
Wendell Carter Jr.
actually,
is the only guy.
You're playing into something that I actually did want. Coming into this, I said I was going to give Mike 2K. Met him live at the
we did
the Bulls
Post-game,
game that we went to with Jake.
Thunder lose twice in the same night, and then after we got to meet Mike 2K, it was a great night.
And it sucks because I got to go. So a quick aside.
Yeah.
I put this tweet out that I thought would be like a fun tweet.
Yep.
About how it basically had tiers of anime characters.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got $25, pick who you want, and then they have to defend you against the rest. I didn't think anyone would retweet it, but I've gotten, it's like over 323 likes.
Yep.
I'm just getting reply after reply after
People
reply.
still love tier lists.
Some people in Spanish, some people not in Spanish.
Yep.
So I got to find Mike 2K. But basically, the gifs of his thing was, he said like, oh, blow it up. And I was like, everything? He goes, yeah, blow up everything. Just everything.
Look, I like Chris Dunn. I would give him an extension. Kobe White, too early to tell. I'd keep him around, but, nothing serious. Zach LaVine offensively is so fucking gifted, but he's a defensive liability, and if someone gives me a great price for him, I'd take it.
Oh.
Satoransky, same thing. Denzel, interesting. He's older, but could he still be worth a cheap contract? Sure.
Yeah.
Otto Porter, hurt, but I think he's a good player. Hutchinson, I don't think is going to be anything more than a backup in this league. And then you hit Thad Young, who we know what he is. Trade him. Christian Felicio is just the worst contract we've had for the longest time. Lowry, disappointment this year. Wendell has been great. Luke Cornett's garbage. Daniel Gafford's been great.
So it was when I was watching the Hawks game on Wednesday. I just threw out a tweet. Is it bad that our second unit is producing better than our first unit? And Mike 2K just hit me with a GIF of someone running away from an explosion. And he says, do it now. Blow it up.
Archie is the face of the franchise.
And I go
for it.
But we won. Currently watching I was currently watching the second half at the time because I paused, went over to the Illini game to watch them beat Michigan.
Nice.
And he goes, still blow it up. The team isn't built for success. We are pushing to go back to mediocrity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, tank for LaMelo? He goes, tank for everything. Like, is that the mode we're in where it's like everyone but Wendell is on the market?
Yeah.
And you know what? We're pushing the hard reboot on this.
I guess you should say everybody but Wendell and Kobe White.
But should we do... And
Daniel
I
Gafford.
feel like this is a dumb question. And I don't think it's going to get done because Reinsdorf would have to do it. But is this going to be a situation of
fire sale?
The only thing that's going to help this team is a hard reboot of everyone but those two. That means everybody's gone. Coach, Paxson, Gar Forman, everybody out the door. We've
never seen that happen.
Sweep of new faces.
Never seen that happen. Not in one season. The Suns have cleared out all their front office and their coach. And it looks like they finally hit.
I mean, we were making fun of James Jones
has done a great job.
Look at what he's been doing. Yeah,
he's done a great job. The draft pick still is a question mark to see if Cam Johnson plays out to expectations. But I think outside of that, his plan has worked, and they've done a great job. The front office, kudos to you guys. Coach seems to have been a pretty good call. Seems to have made a good call.
Monty Williams is doing good things for him.
So I'm with you. As a Bulls fan, I'm exhausted.
It's just so frustrating.
I'm frustrated, and I want to start over. I'm ready to start over, and I feel like we're basically there anyway.
And so now I'm looking at Portland, right, for things we could do for them.
If Otto Porter can get us
his contract doesn't help us though, because the people they would want. No, it's not big enough.
What?
For
Whiteside? I thought Porter and Whiteside fit perfectly.
Whiteside's getting $27 million. Oh, you're talking.
You said
Porter.
Otto. You're saying Otto Porter out loud.
I mean Thad Young.
They want Otto Porter in Portland. That is their dream guy right now. If he's healthy, he is the perfect fit for that team. He's a 3-and-D wing who, at the end of his time with the Bulls,
those contracts
could
fit
put the ball on
perfectly.
the ground. I would want Anthony Simons back, which I'll never get. So I'll take Nasir Little back, which I almost don't want. So I'll take a first-round pick.
So you're saying Hassan, Nasir, and a first?
I would take that in a heartbeat. Yes, I would run away.
This year's first or next year's first?
This year's first. Next year's first doesn't fucking matter to me. A first.
So let's see if
I would take that deal because that's basically 2 firsts.
Let's see if that would
Nasir
work.
Little's a first-round pick.
Yeah, Otto Porter for
first-round
Whiteside, Nasir, and a first would work.
Yeah.
Do you package Thad Young into that deal to maybe try to get like Simons or something?
I don't know if they have the cap space to do that.
Here, let's see.
Who else are you going to throw in? Everyone on their team is hurt.
Simons. If I just put Thad Young and Simons, that pulls out to a...
They can't move on from Simons. He's got superstar written all over him.
Ooh, they would be about 800 or 900K away from making that work.
They
On our
wouldn't do
end,
it.
we would need to give them money? Oh, no, they would need to give up money.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're under cap right now. They're over.
Yeah, they would need to give up money for Thad Young. So if I take Thad and Simons away, I mean...
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If Otto Porter's healthy and the Blazers really want to go after it this year, you go after it. You do it. You pull the trigger on that 10 out of 10 times. That's who we should have talked about. Today we recorded the Fast Break podcast, and we left the Bulls off because traditionally we try to keep the Bulls to the Bulls.
Let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now then, here at the end, because you know how our Fast Break audience is.
Yeah.
They don't like hearing us talk about Bulls.
They don't. And that's why we literally just went 25 minutes just bitching about the Bulls.
What about what teams do you think... We talked about Thad Young, Otto Porter. What teams do you think are in that market besides Portland that we just mentioned?
Teams that need a wing. Let me pull up the standings real quick. So if we're targeting the West only, which we may or may not, Mavericks would be interesting, but they don't have the capital to get back to us. Nothing that I'm really interested in,
Yeah.
and on the timeline that I'd be interested in it. So you go down. Rockets don't have the capital, probably. I think he'd be a great fit, but that's probably not going to happen. Nuggets do, and I don't know that he pushes them over the top, though. He's very good.
And if I'm making a deal with the Nuggets,
I'm going for the sky's the limit.
I want Michael Porter Jr. I don't care who else is in that deal. I want him.
Yeah, no, we talked about, it really has to move the needle for them to move away from any pieces they've got.
But
gain a Malik Beasley back.
Otto Porter could fit that all NBA caliber player, or close to it in my mind.
It's hard because what version are you getting?
Exactly.
You're getting him off of an injury, and then are you getting the Washington Wizards Otto Porter? You're getting the Bulls Otto Porter
last year's,
who played really well. I think the Jazz would be interesting. I think the Thunder are sellers right now. The Suns don't need him because they've got his former cohort in Kelly Oubre. The Kings would love it. Kings, Bogdanovich, and something for Otto Porter. Figure out how to make that work, because I'd love that.
Which one? Say that one more time.
The Kings,
Yep.
A deal centered on Otto Porter and Bogdanovich.
Okay. I will work that out right now.
Because he's been their closer, and he's great, but he's not going to get re-signed because they're out of money.
But would he re-sign with us?
I don't know, but I like him.
So right now...
And I'm pretty much playing 2K right now.
So let's talk about this out loud. So just with those two,
Sure.
Otto Porter's contract's $27 million.
Yep.
Well, 27.3.
Yep.
Bogdan is 8.5.
Yep. So you got to fill up the rest of that, which is fair because we deserve more money.
I mean, I would put Trevor... What's Trevor Ariza's contract? Is he a ridiculous, like... And by ridiculous, I'm saying, is he a...
Trevor Ariza's contract.
How many years does he have left? That's basically what I'm on.
It is a guarantee for this year and next year at $12 million each.
Ooh. So what Spot Rack is telling me is that next year's 12.8.
Oh, it's not guaranteed?
It's partially.
Oh, okay.
So instead of 12.8, only 1.8 is guaranteed.
There you go.
So I mean that could be intriguing.
I want
so
Harry
I'm gonna
Giles.
I'll throw Ariza in on that. That pushes us to 20. We need about $7 million. You said Harry Giles.
He's only $2
million. On that?
Yeah, he's only $2 million.
Do you think that they would move on from Giles?
They haven't played him much, and he's a long-term prospect, because of his injury history in his past.
And then you're thinking a pick.
They're clogged up in the front. because they've got Bagley, they've got Nemanja Bjelica, Sean Holmes has been decent for him. Like, that's a team where
The trade of Bogdan, Ariza, and Giles for Porter would work. And I threw a first in too.
From whose side?
From the Kings to us. So if we got
That's an
Bogdan
overpay on their end.
So okay. So you'd take the pick out?
Yeah, there's no way they would give up a pick.
Would you rather take the pick out or take Giles out? Let me see if it works if we take Giles out. Because you said we're under cap. And technically we're taking on cap here. Okay,
they're at 111 mil.
We would need Giles in on that deal. So I'm going to take the first rounder out, and then it would work to get Bogdan, Trevor Ariza, who's only about $2 million guaranteed next year.
Yeah.
And then Harry Giles. That could be intriguing.
Yeah. I would think maybe the Bulls have to give up a second to balance that out.
The
future second. I know this year's.
So the future second we've got is we'd have to give up the 2021 second.
Or later one.
Or later. But I mean, the closest one we have is 2021.
Yeah. I think something like that would be interesting.
I'm trying to think otherwise too of like, let's see.
Outside of that in the West, I mean, the Timberwolves don't need him.
Would the Heat try to trade for him?
The Spurs would love
Otto Porter.
That would be great. And they have a loaded backcourt. So they've got young pieces they could move on from.
Let's see.
You get a young star like DeMar DeRozan.
Do you think they'd make that? Do you think they'd trade DeMar DeRozan for Otto Porter, or was that a joke?
I mean,
or is that just a straight joke?
That's just me memeing.
Okay.
I would rather not have DeMar DeRozan on our team if that's me. I would rather go after one of their younger backcourt players.
Do we take fucking Rudy Gay, man?
No.
Shit. Because I'm looking at the
to make the contracts work. Yeah,
that's
we're kind of
what I'm thinking. The two big contracts then we'd probably have to take are Rudy Gay's 14.5, Patty Mills is 12.4, and then it drops off DeMar Carroll at 7. Before like 5, 3,
They'd move
3,
on from
2.
DeMar Carroll for sure, but
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The others are questionable.
The other one that I had is
In the East?
Is the East. Do the Heat, like I know the Heat we talked about on the fast break, does Otto Porter really fit with them? Because I know we were talking
He'd fit anywhere.
Like I'm thinking, and the reason why I'm thinking
they don't need
them,
him though.
The reason why I'm thinking them is like on CBS Sports when we were doing that, I saw like Danilo Gallinari, JJ Redick, like the shooters. They had possible destination as the Miami Heat.
They're wrong.
Okay.
The mainstream media is completely off on that then because they have Tyler Hero, they have Jimmy Butler, they have Kendrick Nunn, they have Goran Dragic, they have Justice Winslow. They have oh god, I'm gonna get his name wrong. Duncan Robinson. They have so many talented ball handlers and shooters. They need someone who can rebound extremely well. They need someone who can play big and board. That ain't Otto Porter for them. He'd be redundant, is what I'm saying there. So I don't think they need him. I think you look for a team who needs wing help. And that's tough. That's tough to find right now. Because if you look at the top of the East, Bucks don't need him. I mean, it would be nice to have, sure, but I don't think they're changing up the success right now. 76ers don't need him because same. Heat don't need him, reasons stated above. Celtics already have a log jam. The Raptors have OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, so now we're good. Pacers would be interesting, but I don't think they move on. Nets, this is a blow-off year anyway. I don't think they go for them. Magic would be interesting again, but I don't see it moving the needle.
So
down to the Hornets and the Pistons. The Pistons would love to have him.
I got a trade question for you.
Sure.
So Bleacher Report's NBA writer Andy Bailey
Uh-oh.
proposed a trade not even a couple days ago.
Is it to the Hawks?
No.
Oh, okay.
Would you make this deal? We give up Otto Porter and Cristiano Felicio.
I mean, I'm already in.
For Chris Paul. That's the trade he proposed.
Who's giving up firsts in that one?
I don't know.
No one? Is that just...
The one, he just has it. So I'm getting this through Pippen Ain't Easy.
Gotcha.
They're curating it from Bleacher Report.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read. This is Andrew Miller's article about it. He says, in an opinion piece dropped by Bleacher Report's by NBA, that's wrong right there. I'm going to correct you. Bleacher Report's NBA writer Andy Bailey on December 10th, the Chicago Bulls had an interesting possible former superstar point guard to pursue if they were to hit the trade market and try to find answers this season. The front office has yet to shed some light on what the plan would be if the Bulls don't make any progress in the win column before the end of the calendar year. This trade proposal involved the Bulls sending small forward Otto Porter Jr. and forward Cristiano Felicio to the OKC Thunder in exchange for veteran point guard Chris Paul. The money would about even out, and each team would fill a need that surfaced at this point of the regular season. So I don't think there were picks involved in that one, but we can add picks. Like,
no, I'm just. I don't even know value wise who wins. Like, I don't know.
Do you think that? Well,
does Chris Paul make us better? Yes.
Well, my first thought was, would we have? I feel like getting Chris Paul, we'd have to give up a pick, right?
Yeah, even if how bad that contract
is.
Like,
even if it's like next year's second. Like, I'm not giving up this year's first.
No,
for Chris Paul.
No,
like,
we need that 7th overall.
But like, so I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like
we
get a point guard and our backcourt looks instantly better. You know, we slide Satoransky to the 3.
Does OKC want to make a trade that has no picks in it?
That's my question. Like, do they see Otto Porter as one of those guys they're going to build around with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? And I don't know. Could be. That's a weird trade because we're not really in position to do anything with Chris Paul other than hold him for a year and try to flip him again later on in his career when he's even worse contract and playing worse.
I would personally not make this deal.
Yeah.
Because it hurts it hurts Chris Dunn. It hurts Kobe White. It hurts our starting 5 because what you're going to put...
No, Satoransky at the 3. No big deal. Or Chris Dunn at the 3. No big deal. We already don't... Like, we're already piecemealing our lineup together as of today because Otto Porter hasn't played 20 games.
But will Jim Boylan play Satoransky at the 3?
He already has.
Or will
We've had that lineup. We've run it out.
But I mean, like, consistently. Because I know, like, sometimes I've seen out there where it's like Sato's at the 1... Sometimes he's at the 3, but he's usually never at the 2 because of Zach.
Yeah, they've had Dunn, Zach, and Satoransky out there together. Okay. And usually what happens is Sato guards the 3, Dunn on either the 1 or 2, depending whoever's the better player offensively.
To me, I wouldn't make this move because this doesn't scream rebuild. It screams like, hey, I want to make the playoffs.
Exactly, and that's why it's Jerry Reinsdorf enough to get it done. Ugh. You know? Nah, it's terrifying.
Ugh, would have said it. Ugh.
I think the Hawks would be a cool one. I don't know if not necessary. It just speeds up the rebuild.
Looking for?
They just got a bunch of young kids.
No, what would we be looking for from them? Just young
They just got a bunch of young kids.
Okay.
I'd take any of them.
Okay. Dave's like, I'm just going to say the same thing because Ricky wasn't listening.
Yep, pretty much that. Pretty much that. It's not on their timetable. It's totally unnecessary, but it gives them that solid wing that they can count on. So now they have Trae Young. They've got John Collins and Otto Porter as their big 3. They've got a draft pick that they can add a legit 5 if they don't like what they've got right now. I think it legitimizes them, and it definitely can course correct them for the next year.
I think
if he resigns or if he takes that player up. So they've got money to throw around. Ooh. I don't know how the Hawks are doing it as far as attracting free agents. So
I got something that may work. That may be a little spicy.
Yeah, throw it at me.
Yeah, this may be my Bulls fandom coming at me, though.
Of course. Well, the Hawks are the one team we can beat, so we can talk a little shit.
Otto Porter Jr.
Yep.
And we take on Alan Crabb's contract done at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We get Cam Reddish. And the Brooklyn pick.
Oh.
Not the Hawks pick, the Brooklyn pick. So basically, they're taking.
You had me.
Or do you take the pick out and just take Reddish and
I think we get Cam Reddish back and...
Because, like, Reddish and that pick might be a little much.
It is.
But could we get that? Or do we try to get...
If Otto comes back and plays and drops 20 points a game and, like, 5 boards, 2 assists a game, sure. If he's 25-2, which I should really look up what he did at the end of last year. I'm just throwing out numbers. I feel a little bit like an asshole about this.
Or
let me check Basketball Reference. This is just a meandering topic, guys.
Yeah,
just enjoy the listen.
I mean, this is also, you mentioned how on other podcasts you wanted things to be more like podcasty.
I feel like you read way more into that than I did when I said it out loud.
I'll add this then.
Last year he finished 17-5-2 on an incredible shooting split. So yeah, if he can come anywhere close to that for his comeback, 2-week period before the trade deadline, sell high. Do that.
I got an additional thing to it.
What you got?
Let's add Thad Young to the deal.
Oh.
So they get Thad Young and Otto Porter.
Wow, they would compete then.
So here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
We want that Brooklyn pick.
Yeah.
But we'll also take Chandler Parsons' contract off your hands because that's expiring.
Push it.
So we would get it works.
Yep.
Because the only thing is Thaddeus can't be traded until tomorrow.
Yeah.
So Otto and Thad would be Hawks, and we'd get Cam Reddish, Crab and Parsons would be gone bye at the end of the year, and then we get Brooklyn's pick. Brooklyn's 19th overall pick right now, I think, or are they less now?
I don't know.
Let me see. Tankathon has them right now. That would be the 18th pick in the draft. So we would then have a top 10 and an 18. Kind of like when we had Clutchison. The later Clutchison pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, that's actually the best one I like out of the ones we've done.
I love that. And it gives them two legit pieces if Otto's healthy. Thad Young can come in, play.
Add John Collins in with them.
Well, that's the thing. Like, John Collins can then play small ball 5 because Thad Young can defend anywhere on the court. And that would help them huge. Otto Porter, again, great wing defender, great outside shoot. Oh, man. I really like that. And, like, look, for as much shit as we talked about Cam Reddish, during the draft process, he's a project. He's someone who has to have the time to build up his game. And to start the year, I think he didn't make a shot for, like, ever. But now that he is starting to feel himself a little bit, he's had a couple show-off games.
And you know who this is going to change?
He had a 25-point game. He had a 16, a 14, like...
This is definitely going to change, but you know who's at 19 right now in the Tankathon mock draft?
Who?
Obi Toppin.
Obi Toppin's jumping.
Could you imagine Obi Toppin in a Bulls uni, though, if we get rid of Thad Young?
Where's Lowry going?
I mean, you back up.
Wow.
Back up.
Wow.
Toppin,
I ended on that.
Toppin would be the backup to Lowry, not Lowry back up to Toppin.
I was going to... I mean, I think they're about the same age.
Yeah. Are they? Yeah, I mean, Toppin is an older player.
He is.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about it in my head, Dave. I'm working through it. Dave's like, I gotta look up how old he is now.
Yeah, I made the statement. Now I'm gonna.
Obi Toppin. Yeah, he's 21.
And Lowry's 22.
Lowry
I think.
is 22.
Ah, they're right there.
So there,
just barely off. Anyway. This start off as Thad Young wants out, and it turned into let's try to trade everybody.
Well, really, that's where we're at right now as Bulls fans, right? We're not going to make the playoffs, right?
Fuck it, burn it down.
Yeah. Burn it down.
And on that note,